Hello, sir. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, I see that you are sitting with your cup of coffee. Cheers to that. I mean, we are in these times
Good to
of
that.
Corona. We have to virtually have coffee together.
Yeah.
How have you been, sir?
Sorry, did I join in early? Were you in the middle of your?
No, no, no,
Um,
no, no, not at all. I mean, it's great to have you early. But let me just quickly do a video and audio check. I guess you're getting my audio a little with a lag, I guess. Are you able to hear me properly, sir?
yes, yes, absolutely yes.
Okay, all right. So before I actually, get down to interviewing you and asking further questions, I want to understand because you are quite new on Instagram and social media.
Yes.
I've just recently joined. Have you gotten a hang of it? Because, I
Not
like to see and believe, that artists and actors like yourself, they actually play off responses as opposed to reactions. But social media is all about reactions.
I know that, yeah, but I'm very new to this. I still haven't gotten a hang of what this is all about, but I'll get there. I'll get there. Actually, but I don't enjoy electronics and the digital media so much as a person. So I guess that's why I stay
Okay.
away from it. Yeah, no
Right.
other reason.
But sadly, the times are such that this is all we have. This is all we can actually go ahead and to connect with people.
Absolutely, yes. In fact, the last few days, with all the interviews of Paatallok and the promos, it's all been this. It's been Zoom and online and everything. So yeah.
But how are you actually? Do you think it gets overboard at times when you have to constantly be online because there is only a set amount of time that you can actually dedicate to your own personal stuff, even though everyone is at home. But everybody is constantly surfing, watching shows online, or they are on social media.
Yeah, yeah. I guess you're not left with much time for yourself. It doesn't get nagging really. It's because so much is happening on this, and we are continuously with the media for the last so many days that I guess after a point of time it becomes repetitive. Yes, but yes, one enjoys that. I'm enjoying this. It's been a lovely show, so one is enjoying this phase absolutely.
Okay, so now let's talk about Patal Lok. The fact that, the moment the show was out there on Amazon Prime, people started binge watching it. It became a rage in no time. I mean, the kind of people, all of the people who are joining me here, everybody has been, they were in fact excited about it since yesterday. जब से मैंने announce किया था कि I'm getting you on the show. They were like, okay, Patal Lok is something that everybody wants to watch. They want to finish the season in sitting in one go. So how has the response so far been like for you, or the messages that you are getting online?
Overwhelming, and it's a big thank you to everybody out there to give us so much of love and such an amazing encouraging response because I think ever since it began to stream, people have been absolutely with us 24/7.
Right.
The actors, the crew, and the entire audience actually, right from WhatsApp to Facebook to Insta to everything is happening. Phone calls are coming through. So there was a time the last weekend that you really felt that do you really accept all these calls coming and do you answer all these missed calls because they're just coming on and on and on. And I like to answer all my WhatsApp and all my calls. I don't let any call go by just like that. I I've had this habit for a long, long time, so I keep answering everything, and that becomes a. But that's joyous, I think, in this phase, and the responses, the reviews, everything has been so amazingly huge and so positive to
Yeah.
read all this, listen to people, and the way they've taken this up. It's amazing. I enjoyed this when I did Sacred Games on
Yes.
Netflix, and I'm enjoying this once again on Amazon. So it's great. And really, thanks to everybody. Thanks to the entire audience. What a lovely
Also, yeah.
fan group that one has, and it's beautiful.
Also, tell me something, sir. What is it with these gray shades of characters coming in your kitty? I mean, ever since we saw you in Sacred Games, I will talk about the other two that you've done online, but that's for later. Sacred Games or Dibakar Banerjee's film Detective Byomkesh Bakshi, or for that matter, Sanjeev Mehra's character in Patal Lok. there has been that kind of, that genre-centric and specific, that actually content creators and filmmakers think of you in that particular role. So it's not that you're attracting it, but there is something that even the audiences are liking about.
Uh, yeah, because I wouldn't say that from the beginning, because I did Ship of Theseus, which was the role of a,
Yes.
and so that was another kind of a genre that one attempted. And then Byomkesh happened, Talwar happened, Hitti happened, and there was a stream after that of feature films and of web series. Yes, I did do The Hungry with Nasir, and that
Yes.
again had I did Gali Guliya with Manoj Bajpayee, even that had a grey shade. So these are there. I don't know why this comes to me, but I don't see things as that way, that I am performing, or let's say once again, which was a romantic, out and out romance.
Yes.
But I like to do all genres, and I don't look at one genre as being typecast. I don't look at that. I avoid it as much as possible. But when it comes to me, I play it in a very different shape. Although it is a villainous role, or it is a role that has gray shades, but every time I take it up, that is the excitement about being an actor, that you take up something like this, which is the same that is coming to you. But it's up to you how you color that. And I find that very engrossing and challenging. Because every
No,
role that I've
yeah.
done with shades or is a villainous role, they're all very different from each other. None of them are matching. And I make sure that when I use my craft or my technique to do this, I ensure that they don't match. And that's, I think I enjoy this a lot. When I look back at my work, I enjoy looking at it, because I feel, okay, it's not the same thing I'm doing every time. It's a different piece of work.
Now, the reason why I asked you this question, and I consciously avoided once again or Taj Mahal, because there is a liking for the neo-noir genre also with the audience. People just lap it up like that. Why do you think content creators are actually sticking with the neo-noir? So, I mean, if we are living in these depressing times, there's only so much depression and noir that we can handle, but still people want to watch it. Like I said, they just, they watched an entire 9 episodes in one go, sitting, and because it's so captivating. It's so intriguing for that matter. Obviously, the way it's written is very riveting. But that's what is being served, because that is what people are consuming these days.
I guess it's very difficult to say why this happens, because the responses of the audiences are changing rapidly. If you see over the past couple of years, in fact, when I did Ship of Theseus, I was surprised that we went full house with that film, which we never saw any future to. When we made it, we felt, God knows who's going to see this, because it had no hero, no star cast, nothing, and not even an engrossing thriller. It was a different kind of a film, but people took to it and came in full houses to watch that. It went all over the world. When that happened, we saw something new happening at that point of time. I think this was 2011, 12. And then came Talwar again, because Talwar again was a true life story. That again did, the response that one got from the audiences was very different. From then on, it's been surprising, because when the audience's responses change, you just don't know. So to answer your question, it's very difficult to pinpoint why this happens, and why do they binge watch something that you don't even expect them to binge watch sometimes. And you feel why to do this. So these responses they change very, very rapidly. It's a good thing, actually, because that keeps us on our toes. And we need to constantly create content that we can challenge ourselves with, because you never know what they will be attracted to us. And that's the beauty about the audience, One likes an audience like this, not a stagnant, constant audience that says, we only want songs and dance, or we don't. It's a changing audience. It's a beautiful audience.
Right. Also, the fact that, when you did Ship of Theseus, you were recognized as the most promising newcomer. Although you have, done this Odia film, The Last Vision, which was in 2007, it won the national award at that time. So despite that, once people saw you, in the mainstream sort of, the Hindi film industry, so to speak, they readily liked it, whether it is that role as the monk. But at that time, when Anand Gandhi's film came, there was also a lunchbox which came. It was also readily appreciated. Of course, we had Irfan in that film. But, filmmakers who were doing this kind of content were really, really appreciated. Don't you think there was that phase when Ship of Theseus came?
Yes, it was. I think even when you saw Anurag Kashyap's films coming at a point of time, again, that was a new wave that happened for the audiences. And Shape of Thesis was just a progression of that. And yes, I was a newcomer at that point of time in the industry, if you see it that way, because I hadn't done any films, just one Odia feature film produced by the NFDC. And that was years ago. I did that in 97. I was a young boy at that time and I did that then. So yeah, that way it was. Of course, to me, when I saw that, because I've done a lot of theatre earlier, not of work earlier. So when somebody says, "Newcomer," you're pretty surprised by that, but you accept that because that's what you are. You've not done many work, in film, so you are a newcomer. Yeah.
Also, since you talk about theatre, I think the last time we saw you on stage was in 2017 with the Nasiruddin Shah production. So why hasn't there been such a gap? I mean, it's 2020 now. When do you plan to actually, obviously it's a situation that we can't really talk about all those things right now because this is what the new normal is. But do you miss the stage?
I do. And stage is a foundation. So one has to get back to it again and again and again. It's just that the last 10 years, one decade, I think, films took up most of my time and web series. So I enjoyed this entire phase. I'm still enjoying it. And I think it was important for me to give it that kind of an emphasis as a professional. I didn't want to go anywhere else but stick to feature and web series. Nasir's play I did because that's a beautiful phone call that came from him saying that, would you want to do a play with me? We worked together on a film called The Hungry, and thereafter this happened. So one can't say no to Nasiruddin Shah. So one said yes, and I was getting back to theatre after years, literally. But that happened, and then I'm not doing anything right now in terms of theatre. I will eventually get back to it again, and you do all the three because I enjoy doing all three. They feed off each other. That's the excitement of doing this. Yeah.
Right. We'll just try to take a couple of questions. Whatever I find interesting, I'll just post them to you. There's Palash Arora wants to ask, sir, does your previous roles or characters affect your choice of taking on your forthcoming projects?
No. Everything that I do is a fresh piece of work, but one place where it actually connects with my previous work is I don't like to repeat what I have done. Sometimes offers come that are repetitive. That means they're exactly a copy-paste of what I've done earlier. So if I've done Parulkar in Sacred Games, so offers come like you're a cop, and this is what your uniform is going to be. You're a good person in front of so and so, and then you become somebody bad. You take revenge. There's a prisoner over there. He's a hardcore gangster. It sounds the same as Sacred Games. So when they do that, then I say no to that because then you can't do much with that. But if they say, yeah, it's the role of a cop and it's a crime thriller, I'm willing to go ahead because then I can interpret it my way. But if you define everything like the previous films I've done, exactly ditto, like I did once again, another offer came, exactly ditto, only the heroine was different. Same, almost similar story, everything was same. And I was a star there again. So those things,
Yeah, okay. Kate K. Arora wants to know about your upcoming projects. I believe there is another web series, an international web series that is in the pipeline, which you were shooting for, but it got stuck because of lockdown.
Yes, there is one. I can't speak much about this, but this is a very, very interesting Hollywood web series. And I can't say anything more than that. It's a very wonderful role, and it's got an international cast, and I'm really looking forward to this. Apart from this, I'm doing a feature film, a Hindi film. So we'll start shoot the moment the lockdown gets over.
Also, so how do you see this current state of affairs when it comes to actors in general? I'm talking about performers. There was a time and place where only the commercially viable actors were considered, or who would bring out the moolah like 100 crores or 200 crores. They were, seen as the hero of the film. Right now, the definition of the hero of a show or a film has completely changed. It's only about your craft that does the talking and the story. I think that is the hero. So it's a very, very important time for performers like yourself.
It is very true because the audiences still want the entertainers. They still want the stars. And with due respect, they own that space completely. We can never take that space. But we have a space of our own when we say actors. So we are not entertainers and we're not stars, but we work in a different way. Our format is different. Our methodology is different. And I like to respect that. So when we say that actors are going through a lovely phase, they are, because now the audiences are looking at both kinds of cinema. The cinema that contains or has the stars in it, that is an entertainment film. They're also looking forward to films that have craft, technique, method, writing, everything, all elements of filmmaking. And that is why it's becoming interesting, because you're seeing so many kinds of actors generating now.
Right.
People who we heard of, and we're hearing of them now. And such brilliance of performances, such brilliant actors, such good writing, such good photography, such good direction. Every talent is now coming forward. And we're actually seeing the real talent of India. You know, earlier we were missing that, because it had only a limited amount of people who would be there in the feature films. And we never saw great talent coming out over there. I mean, of course, with due respect, like I said, there are entertainment films, but now we are seeing so much more. And it's a wonderful phase. You know, this is a phase where you really want to put in your best, do things which are out of the box, and explore and explore and explore, because this way you get to see who you are.
Right.
And the audience is loving. I think they are forgiving as well. That's the best part about the audience right now.
Right.
I,
Right.
when I say this, I'm not really flattering my audience, but over the years, one has fallen in love with one's audience. It's very beautiful. Even the journalists, the critics, they've been very kind. At least I would say for me, in my journey, they've been very, very kind. And it's wonderful to have an audience like that who is ready to forgive you, even if something is not going okay. They're willing to stay for another film, another project of yours to come through.
All right, I have a very good question by Prema Sridevi, who's also joined us. She's asking, you worked with Irfan Khan in Talwar. How do you remember him, you know, from the moments that you shared in the film with him?
I remember him very fondly. I had met him many years ago, actually, some 25 years ago, live on set, shooting for a television series. I don't remember which one now, but he was shooting for that. And I saw him performing live, and I remember asking people over there, who's this guy? He's such a brilliant actor. So they said he's from National School of Drama. His name is Irfan Khan. I remember that name since then. And then when Talwar came, I was asked to perform with him. It was such a treat, such a pleasure. I remember we were shooting on the second floor of a building, and for Talwar. And I think that was my first day of shoot. I remember going up over there, and I'd requested the director that, see, it's a very difficult role, it's complex, it's a tragedy, and the character is a very tragic character. So I would prefer if you have a bit of silence when I go up over there, so that I can focus on my role.
Right.
But when I go up over there, outside the room, I could hear a lot of loud sounds coming through, and that was Irfan's conversations with the director. He was trying to figure out how to do the shot, you know, what does he want, etc. Because he was just alone in that room with the director. And I said, Gaya Mera Bhi. Now that there is so much of loud conversations, I'll have to, you know, equip myself to still perform with this. But when I went in, and to my surprise, when he saw me, because I was that demeanor in my character, I went and sat down across the table, and he totally hushed his voice tone. He was talking in whispers to the director, and he gave me all the space to be the character that I wanted to be. And there was no other conversation apart from that. And he was continuously speaking in whispers, even in the takes that I was doing. He did not speak loudly in between takes. So even when the next take was happening, he kept quiet. He did not interfere. He did not do anything that would disturb me. I remember this man that fondly, because he gave me that space, and I was just 2 films old by then. Nothing else. I was nervous when I was performing this role, because the role was complex. And here I have such an amazing co-actor who was years ahead of me in terms of experience at that time.
Yeah.
Although in terms of age, he wasn't, just a couple of years more. But in terms of, he was about 54. I mean, he passed away at 54. I'm 52 now. So that's the only age difference that we had, but he was years ahead in his experience. And he got up from there. I remember not even wishing at that point of time, because I was focused on my role. I didn't even say hello, hi, nothing. I wanted to do that after the take was over. Right. He got up and he walked up and he put his right hand, he was looking the other way. He just extended his right hand in the form of a handshake to say that it was a good job. And I shook his hand. He just walked out. He didn't say anything. That's a beautiful memory that I've kept for myself ever since that day. And I so much wanted to work more with him. Never happened.
Right. So, also talking about the OTT space, do you think with this OTT boom, you have more content that, obviously the theaters are shut right now, but even when the theaters were open, audiences used to get attracted to the big budget films. There were only a niche space that was reserved for people who would still want to go and watch a film like once again, in the theaters. But with the OTT space, a content like Once Again, or even a brilliant show like Taj Mahal 1989, these are getting a lot of takers.
Yes, they are. Like I think I said this earlier in your question, that the space is getting larger and larger and larger now. And especially in times like these, it's becoming even bigger. I don't know what is more that is being pumped into this space, but definitely there's a huge space that is still left to explore. As in cinema, it's grown so much that, of course, it has a big space again ahead of it. But one has explored a lot of films, but one really hasn't explored a 9-hour format, a
Right.
format that has a small space. You just take your mobile, you can put it in your pocket, and your theater travels with you. You can see it anytime you want to. That's the greatness about this OTT space. So when you have this, I think it's giving us that kind of a space to go on exploring. And we're still inventing. I don't think we've really invented the OTT space yet, although so much of work has happened. I think
Right.
we still invent this and take absolute command of this to say, we get it now. We get the space completely. We know now how to create content for the space. All the great content is coming out, but I still have a feeling inside that we still haven't gotten a hang of it. But we'll be there very soon, I'm very sure. The way people are going at it, I think we'll find a way where we can grip the audiences even more. When you imagine
Also,
audiences
yeah.
watching 8 hours, 7 hours. I
Yes.
mean, what a treat that is, And the character gets 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours to create the arc for himself. That's the biggest pleasure for an actor. You get such a lot of space to tell your story. And so for the writer and so for the director. But for the actor to create that arc is wonderful.
Coming back to Patal Lok, what I take back from the show, other than the riveting concept and the writing, are the performances, of course. And the casting is amazing. And it is not about looking for a face that would connect with the people. Each and everybody who's cast in their particular roles have fit the bill perfectly. The people remember them for their performances. These are actors who have been actually taken up because they actually fit the bill. So that was that's something that I take back from Patal Lok. Now, they might not be known faces, not everybody is, but they're still there and they are very impactful.
Absolutely. In fact, when I watched the show, I was amazed, very pleasantly surprised at every character that I saw. Every character. I could not pinpoint a single character in that entire series where I felt that, no, didn't fit the bill. None of them. In fact, it was the opposite. Every time I saw a new character, I remember turning back and with whoever I was seeing this, I was continuously commenting on, look at that man. Look at this. Look at what he did. And he's just maybe a 30-second or a 1-minute character. That's it. But what brilliance of performance. Every character, which is rare. You don't find this in all the web series. It's a very rare phenomena to have actors that are in each and every frame that come. Even if there are 5 actors, even the background, everything is happening to the T. I was surprised. How does this happen? The policeman who Hathiram meets in Chitrakoot,
Yes.
even that person, just a small piece he had. But even there, it was so engrossing. You don't want to leave the frame. Here is a series that does not make you feel that I want the other actor who I just saw, I want him back again. I'm getting bored with what I'm seeing right now. No, you can't say that. Because every frame catches you with the performance. Every frame. Everybody.
And what do you
So
take
that,
back from Patal Lok? Yeah, sorry, what were you saying? Sorry.
I said that's what is so intriguing. And
Yeah.
you feel such a high that you're part of such a team. Because when I saw the list of actors, I feel, look, I know him, I know her, whatever. And then the rest, they're not told you. And I feel, I don't know who now. I wonder who else is in the show. But what a surprise. And it's so heartwarming.
Also,
I really wish we really explore our country for actors. We have a huge, gallons of talent over here. You know, you can't doubt talent in India anymore in terms of acting and performances. And the more people train, I feel training is important. That I agree with. I don't think if you do one show very well, you are called an actor. You have to be consistent and prove yourself to be an actor. That requires method. That requires training, and people are doing that. I do train. I do coach. I'm an acting coach. So I see a lot of people now coming in to train, and that's exciting to see. But yeah, the
But
Paatallok.
you yourself, sir, are a self-taught actor. I mean, you have learned everything that you have with your theater experience, and you decided to, go into that method acting space or whatever the way you had to channel your process of acting. You have done it all by yourself. And then, of course, the training and the coaching for the newer talent happened.
Yeah. When I say training, I don't mean that you have to go to an acting school. But if you go to an acting school, it's good because you learn something quicker and you learn something in a span of 3 years. It gives you a foundation and then you start working on that. If you want to do it on your own and create and carve a niche for yourself and perform well, then it takes years because one searches, one is constantly searching and not knowing whether we are on the right track or not. It took me so many years to be confused all the time because I had no teacher all my life. Everything I was learning was on my own. I was inventing everything on my own. And one thing that I was doing at that point of time was also that I didn't want to repeat anything. So I'm not a method. Things that I do might sound like method acting, but no, I'm not. I don't follow any school of acting at all. That was a conscious decision right from the beginning because I said if I'm going to do this, I want to do it my way. And it should have something that I can create. Today I can talk about it because I think I've done a considerable amount of work, which is fairly good, and I can say with pride that then I'm a self-taught actor today. You know, in those years when I was trying to train myself, that became difficult. But one has to train, whether it's on your own, whether you're going to a school. Training is crucial, and you cannot make out an actor in just a couple of projects. That I don't think the audience should do. We do that very easily, you know. We see somebody say, "Wow, what a great actress she is," or "What a great actor." No, give the person a little bit of time, some breathing space, and give her time or give him time to prove himself. That's very, very crucial, yeah. But training is very crucial.
Right. Your role as a journalist in Paatal Lok, you play Sanjeev Mehra. It was very important for you to not start looking like a caricature to a particular journalist. What was your homework like? Because, people will start comparing, he might be playing this journalist or, and there are comments also that suggest that. But how was it? What was your homework like when it came to that?
So the homework was conscious not to play a single journalist. Even if you felt that, okay, this fits this bill completely. I know a journalist who's like this. And you tell yourself, no, don't do that. Because then that becomes, if it's a biopic, you can do that. If it's not a biopic, never follow one character ever, a live character. So one has to take journalism as a whole. I read up on the great journalists of the 1990s who began then, still alive right now, they're still working. But they began then, and those were the years of journalism of integrity, investigative journalism, journalism of honesty, courage, everything. And Sanjeev's background was that. So I didn't want to pick out 2 or 3 people and then ape them. I had to understand their philosophies, their mindsets, what made them do this kind of journalism. What gave them that courage to come out so bold all the time. I wanted to study them and their philosophies and the books they've written or whatever. So I did that as a homework. And then I laid the skeletal foundation for my work. Thereafter, you start putting your craft and your technique inside that to flesh it out. And then you play him. You play him in multiple experiences. For example, when I was doing that, me and my director, we decided to create spaces, psychological spaces for this character. So we defined 3 consistent psychological spaces of Sanjeev Mehra. So every time I walked onto set, I had to discuss with the director saying, okay, this scene we are doing, now which psychological space is this scene falling under? And then we would both mutually decide to say, okay, it falls under that phase where he was reckless. So let's take that phase now and we play that. So when we play that, it decides my state of being at that point of time as a character. And accordingly, what should be my corresponding emotion? State of being is called bhava. Emotion is called rasa. So when you have the bhava and the rasa together, then it's called responding, not reacting.
And that's what I spoke about when I actually posted that question on social media. I began the interview with talking about how social media has become all about reactions and not responses. But you have gotten a hang of it because of the latest post that I saw that you posted. I would like to end this interview on that note where you have your own take on don't be a troublemaker, and that little post your latest post on Instagram. You are having fun with this space, and obviously the responses that are coming your way here.
Yeah. So the post also was there. I am having fun. I'm enjoying this phase completely. And like I said, I'm new to Insta. So I hope I get a hang of this and I start to communicate with my audience much, much more. I want to do that. I haven't for so long, for so many years. I like to keep this privacy, because when you're a performer and you're creating various characters, I like the people to believe that and be with that character and not know Neeraj Kabi. I don't know why I feel this, but I'm open to exploring this space on Insta and other platforms. But I still want to keep my privacy because I feel that should be kept away. There's something that's mystic about a person vis-a-vis what he plays on screen. If you get to know me too much, then you'll start to judge what I'm doing on screen. So I want to stay slightly away. And that's the mystery about acting. That's why you enjoy it so much.
That's a beautiful thing that you said, sir, because I always think. I mean, I have been interviewing for film stars for 14 years now. I always feel that the people who have come in now, they're so social media savvy that enigma of a star, an actor, is actually going. Unless and you still feel the enigma of Rekha ji will be intact because she's not as interactive. Nobody knows about a lot of her personal stuff, and they want to. That's the intrigue factor, and I think that should be there because people idolize actors who they see, and they would always want to keep guessing.
Yeah, I guess I think even in those years of stardom, those yesteryears of the much older actors that we had, Rajesh Khanna and everybody, they maintained that complete distance.
Yeah.
Maybe it worked then. Maybe this is the phase where actors, the stars come out and they're out with everybody and they're sharing things. Maybe that's working. I think the audiences might be loving this as well. It's a very funny phase right now, very confusing, yet very engrossing and very pleasant because one doesn't know what's happening exactly.
Right.
Because when you say, okay, I want to be private, now you also want that, I want to reach out to people. And they would respect you for both of it. I'm sure they will. Even if I say that I need my privacy, I am extremely sure that my audiences there will allow me this. So that large-heartedness is there. I truly talk about my audiences because whatever I'm able to do today and explore is because they've been accepting this. And they said no during Ship of Theseus. I don't think I would have come so far.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah. Sorry, I did not want to interrupt you.
I said this is a journey, and it's wonderful to hold your hands with the audience and walk, even though you want to be private, even though you don't come out with them so much. I can still feel that warmth and that love from them, and that's so beautiful. Up there on social media, but I still get so much love from them. It's exciting. Even when I do my workshops, it's amazing how many people want to enroll. And we just have limited seats, so we can't take everybody like that. And I do just 3 workshops in the whole year. That's it. I can't do more because of the shoots. But it's exciting. And the respect that they have for all kinds of acting. I got so many phone calls and WhatsApp messages talking about not just my work, my own students. They're talking about everybody's work and so brilliantly. Everybody's speaking about acting and performances today. That's very exciting, I think. People are able to differentiate between a good work, good talent. And I think it will open up spaces for so many people to work now, to come out over there and create roles. And writers will write roles now that they were earlier afraid to write. Now we can have any kinds of people here. We won't be even aping the West anymore and taking examples of the West all the time that we talk. We continuously take the name from the West. I think there should be a time now in India that we have our own actors who we represent. We don't have to take names from outside to say, this is called good acting. We need to create that. It's very, very crucial to do that.
Right.
And I think we've got enough.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for actually joining this session, Coffee Time with Griha. It was really great. And the fact that you respond to each and every message, that actually got me lucky that you responded to mine. So I was really grateful that you said yes to doing this. Many congratulations on Paatal Lok. And like once again in Taj Mahal 1989, I'd also like to see you doing more love stories because that's something
I,
that you excel in.
but I'm waiting for such stories. I had such a time when I was doing Once Again. I just loved that genre so much.
Yeah.
And I felt that, wow, I have a knack to do this. Let me do this. I'm waiting for love stories. And there's a joy in watching middle-aged love stories. It's a
Right.
very
Oh,
different.
yeah.
I've watched so many of them from Hollywood that I've always told myself that I wish we make more middle-aged love stories over here. It's such a joy to watch all of this. And such a lot of young audiences are watching it.
Yes.
So many
Yeah.
young audiences. People have watched Once Again 17 times, 34 times, 28
Yeah.
times. Can you believe it? One feature film people are going on watching again and again and again.
That's
I guess
because it's
that's why
so
it's coming.
beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And
So
thanks to the
yeah.
OTT space for us to be, that we are able to see content like that. And I would love to watch stuff which is like on the lines of Once Again or even Taj Mahal or for that matter, Paatal Lok. There is room for every space, genre here, or, in this, and people can actually pick and choose what they want to watch.
Thank you, Griha. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you so much, sir. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks a
And
lot.
thank the audiences also. Thank you very much for watching us.
All right. Stay safe, sir. I'll see you. Bye.
You too.